in looking at his nails, I can see that he is a candidate for a sculptured nail. A couple of things that you need to know is that in order to do a sculptured nail, you have to have somewhat of a free edge. Now, his are pretty short. Looks like he may have just cut them down perhaps maybe last week. But he's got enough that I can kind of get that form underneath there. And so that's kind of what I'm looking for. And I thought, for hilarious purposes, we would pick on the guy in class. I happen to know that Garrett is an avid nail biter, so he probably wouldn't have been the best candidate. So that's why we're going to play with Aaron today. Now, the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to take your black file, and with the black file on the fine side, not the gritty side, you're actually going to etch the nail. Now, the way that you're going to do this is you're going to go up and down like so. If you take a look at each one of our nails, or natural nail, you see the little grooves going up and down, correct? That's just kind of how the nail works. So we're going to do that. While I'm doing that, see, I'm kind of using a little bit of reinforcement by putting my index finger right here. You're kind of pushing that cuticle back as well, removing any of that pterygium. So I'm removing this natural shine. I'm etching the nail. Alright, and so you can use cotton, you can use a nylon nail brush or whatever, but see, I've kind of dusted it, so there's a lot of dust there. And I'm removing the shine, and that removes what, guys? Do you guys remember?
The pterygium?
The pterygium, absolutely, yes.
The oils or residues.
Also the oils, residues, natural moisture. Okay, that'll work. Alright, so my next step is, once I removed all of that natural shine, I'm going to use some nail antiseptic. Now, you don't want to do it like right here. You want to spray it kind of far away. And I want you guys to watch because it's going to dry out to that chalky white again.
Ooh.
Isn't that great? Just like I said, right? Now we'll use primer. This bottle of primer here, guys, this should last you quite a long time if you use it correctly. It's probably is not young. Yeah. And the way that you apply it is not like polish. We're going to put dots, and it kind of spreads itself out, as you can tell, all the way around where, because it kind of spreads, you don't want to overdo it, and you don't want to burn your guest.
That would be bad.
That's right. He would not be happy with me. Now this is going to dry as well, back to that chalky white. A couple of things about primer you guys are going to want to know. With the primer, now I can go ahead and put the form on and do the acrylic and all of that. That's fine, but it's still wet. And what happens if you trap something that contains acid underneath? It will. It'll kind of eat at the nail and make him very uncomfortable. He'll be mad at me. And we can't have Aaron mad at Mel.
I don't get mad very easily, but I think that might push me off a little bit.
Okay, guys, a couple of things. You've applied the antiseptic, you've applied the primer. You do not want to touch the nail because what's going to happen is I will contaminate it. Then I'll have to do it all over again. We don't want to do that. Slap you. Yeah.
Oh, did she?
Oh.
Oh.
I was trying to take the Alright, guys, but what I am going to do, because I don't really want primer on him, the next step would have been for me to put the form on and begin the acrylic process. I'm going to refile just a little bit because I don't want primer on him because it will be harder to come off. And he wants to ultimately remove it. He doesn't want to make pizza dough with a big nail. I don't know why not.
It's really hard.
I know. You're like, oh my god, I lost my nail.
Bad. Oh, man.
Tell you what.
That reminds me of Wendy's.
Don't wear Band-Aids and roll dough.
Oh.
I found it. I found it.
That's right.
That's gross.
She's got it on camera.
Yeah, I do.
We're going to sue.
That was a joke. That was a joke.
Aaron likes to put Band-Aids in pizza dough.
Okay, so then we do the primer, dot, 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 dot. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so now I'm going to use the form. The primer? No.
You just, because you redid it.
I wanted to redo it, yeah, because I didn't want to put primer on him because we don't want it to be, we want it to be easier to take off. So, now, your numbers, in looking at your form, are going, you're going to be able to read them just fine. That's a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4. Now, what are the numbers for?
How long?
How long are you going to have your nail? You want all your nails consistently long, right? You don't want your middle finger this long and your ring finger this long. You know what I mean? That would be bad.
Can I do 7 today?
Heck yeah, I'll do it as long as, yeah, I really will too. Alright, so I've taken it off. Now what you want to do is you want to pop this dot out, and you want to stick it to the back side. Can everybody see what I just did? On the back side of where the numbers are.
Why is that?
Alright, and what you're going to do, yes, adds reinforcement.
Look at you.
So when you take and you roll it like this, because you got to think about that, whose nail is completely flat like this?
Nobody's.
Nobody's, right? So we need to have it kind of curved. Here's this. Oh, some people's are, literally. You want to kind of curve it a little bit to go with the natural way that the nail grows, right? So I know that his isn't terribly curved, so I'm not going to make a really forced curve. But this does add reinforcement and helps it to stay rounded. You guys will find it'll be a little bit easier on your mannequin hands because they're consistent in shape, yeah.
Just don't let me near the glue again.
Okay.
It's not pleasant.
Shelly's poor fingers.
Did you get glued?
They got stuck like this.
Awesome.
I had to help her.
You had a strong hand for a minute, huh? We got stuck like what?
Like that. Like 2 of her fingers got stuck completely together.
Pulled it down. Scratch.
Scratching my back. It feels fantastic.
Perfection. Dun, dun, dun. All right, now when you take a look at it directly, you're going to see that that free edge is laying right on top of that form.
Yep, sure is.
All right, flip your hand around so she can get that on camera. Can you see that? See how straight it is? See how the free edge just lays on that form? Are we good? Okay,
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
I want everybody to see it too.
And that music. Obviously, it worked really well. Everyone really Not perfect, but like
Like this? Yeah. Okay. She was like pointing at their eyes. I was like,
good.
Are we good, guys?
Very good.
All right, so now is when the magic happens or not. I know, I'm just going to use the natural. Yeah, just for demonstration purposes. Now, my brush is a little bit larger here. The area of the brush is a little bit larger than what you guys are going to be working with. Remember, odorless product, very funny, odorless product dries from the inside out, so you don't need near as much liquid. You guys know when you go and get your nails done, they're constantly dipping in the liquid and they're patting, dipping the liquid and patting. You do not need to do that. You want to work with it dry, as dry as possible. So initially, guys, when you put your brush into the monomer, you are going to see all those air bubbles coming up there? It's sort of like when you put a sponge in the water, what happens? You squeeze the sponge and all the bubbles come up. You just need to get all the air bubbles out of there because that causes bubbles in your nail. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of tap. I want a little bit of liquid in that brush. Can you see the very bottom of that brush, guys? A little bit of liquid is collecting. That's how we want it because the first ball needs to be a large ball because we're working and doing the free edge. So I'm going to take and hold it like a pencil, and I'm just going to drag it right through. Now let's say I want more of a ball. I'm like, I'm not happy with that. I need more. What I'm going to do is just take that ball and drag it back through.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, very nice.
I wonder what else you could do with this stuff.
Alright. So now I'm going to do, everybody notice, one side of the brush has nothing. Can you guys see that? One side of the brush has nothing. Everybody sees that? And one side of the brush has the ball. I'm going to put the blank side, and right where the free edge meets that form, I'm going to put the blank side on there, and I'm going to roll that ball right off of my brush and lay it on the nail. Now I'm going to dry, dry, dry. Remember, you need to work with it dry. You don't need any liquid because what happens with the liquid is it makes it start sliding all around. I'm going to use the length of my brush to kind of pat and shape this.
It's going to be a long nail.
Cuticle too?
No. Yep, you're working with 3 balls.
Have you reached it? Have you what?
No. You don't redip your brush because you want to work, ladies, gentlemen, you want to work with your product dry, so you don't want to. And any time when I'm doing this, if I notice my acrylic sticking to my brush, I need to re-dry. And I use the whole entire side to move.
Are you taking it all the way to 7 still?
So, here we are. I will. I'll add on to that here in a minute. This is how you're going to do it for state board, though. Alright, so that's ball 1. Ball 2, we don't need quite as much liquid. I'm still going to fully immerse, get all the air bubbles out of there. This time I'm going to tap it a little bit more because I don't need near as much. See, there's not near as much liquid found in that brush. So again, I'm going to get another ball here. Alright, so I'm good to go now. What I've noticed is this ball is a little bit more wet than I want it. So I'm going to take the blank side of my brush, lay it right on my mat. Let it take some of that monomer out of my brush. Meanwhile, keeping my ball right there. Same thing, except where your powder hits your natural nail, that's where you want to lay this one, the stress point, right there. Same thing, roll it out. Bam, there we are. Dry your brush. You don't want any acrylic to build up in it, and this is the way you're going to avoid that. You're going to continue to dry your brush as you're working. Again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to shape this. You got to be really careful. Use just the ends of your brush to get it around that cuticle area, because it will cause lifting if you do not, if you get it in the cuticle. And yeah, does it hurt, guys, when you get acrylic on your finger? Ouch. Now, once I've got that patted and shaped to where I want it, I'm just going to drag it.
Smooth it out.
Okay. Last one is a tiny ball because it's actually in the cuticle area. I normally would never tell you to do this. I'm going to get a tiny little ball here.
Oh, it's so cute. Little baby ball, isn't it cute?
Alright, anybody, can you see how little it is? Yeah. Now this one I'm not going to roll onto there. I'm actually going to place it right at the line where that acrylic meets that natural nail. Dry my brush, and I am going to use the ends of my brush. And I'm actually going to just right around in that cuticle area where I need it. Once I'm happy with that, I'm actually going to drag it as well.
So if it gets on your skin, it burns?
Well, it won't burn, but it'll cause lifting, and it's very uncomfortable. Yes, I'm good. Okay, so now's the time, guys, when you would allow it to dry. We would remove the file, and we would remove the form, and we would file it. But I'm going to make it a little bit longer just for fun.
Oh, no.
So I'm going to get me a hefty ball here.
So if you knew you were intentionally going to make it, a 7, would you have done the free edge part of the portion first still all the way to the 7, or
Yes.
exactly like this?
I would do it all the way to the 7.
It's really not that bad.
Guys, I'm just adding a little bit of reinforcement here. That's what I'm doing, just so that it's a little stronger because I think it's funny.
Are you going to leave that on for work?
No.
You should.
I get beat up. I'm not even joking.
You get beat up.
I'm not even joking. All 5 of them would my brother would help beat me up. Not really. He would think it's funny. He would just start busting up laughing. He'd be like, John's not going to like this.
Now, do you ever look at it from the side, like how I'm looking at it, to see if
Absolutely. And a lot of times,
there's that dip in there?
guys, you got to listen. A lot of times when you take a look at it straight on, you're like, oh, it's great, it's perfect, yay, but then you look at it from the side and it looks like that. So what can you do?
Smooth it out.
You can smooth it out. How would you smooth it?
Well,
you could add a little more acrylic and kind of round it out a little bit. Or you would do it with a file. Which is what we're
Crazy
going to do.
pimp nail.
We're going to let him dry for a few moments. Notice I closed my powder right away. I don't want anything to get into it. With the gummy residue on there, you're going to file it into the nail. You don't want to do that. You just want to get it off. So, very gently. Is this going to happen to you guys? Yep. It's odorless. It's the nature of the monster.
Oh, good.
And so what I found through trial and error with these odorless nails is that once I have filed off the gummy residue off the top of the nail, I can take a look at it and it's not so wavy anymore. I'm totally enthused by that. I think that's fun. I'm going to make sure.
That's nice when it does.
Pretty legit.
Yeah.
Now, a couple of things you need to know, because this will, and I'm not trying to claim that it's going to happen because I said so, but it will happen. You guys will be filing and you'll say, oh my God, look what I did. Isn't it great? I'm going to be like, yes, but Mel, how do I get that big hump out of it? Okay? You can achieve all of it with your file. Okay? So if you've got a little bit of waviness going on, you can take that file. There's different directions that you can file to kind of help solidify that and make it nice and smooth. Okay? So now that I've done that, I'm going to take my my buffer block. Isn't that great? Aaron is the best sport, you guys. He really is. I've done this. I try every time I have a guy in class. I do it to the guy. Well, okay, wait.
Whoa.
I give him a nail.
I was like, oh.
All right.
I give you bye.
Got that one on camera too.
I didn't like that. I give the guy a nail. That's what I meant to say. OMG. I'm going to hell.
She said I'm going to hell.
Yeah. Give him a nail.
Nail the guy. Nail the guy.
Oh, wow. All right, never mind.
I'm going to give you a high five.
Going home.
See you again.
You guys put that video on my apartment right now.
Wait till we graduate.
Told you.
You guys are going home.
I actually have an apartment.
Everybody that's even said anything in this video is pretty much rude.
Now I'm buffing. Now what does the buffer block do?
Smooth it.
The buffer block smooths it, absolutely. And also, if there were any dips and grooves in the nail, dust would collect in it from this buffer block. So then you know you need to go back and file, and you need to smooth it out a little bit more. So, but by doing that, that'll kind of let you know the areas that you need to take care of. All right, and this is the magic one. Oh my God, love this file right here. I'm gonna put a little bit of oil, actually. Look at a Kool-Aid jammer in those. Ooh, yes, very nice.
Oh yes.
Kind of massage that in. Now, how are you going to remember what order they go in? Night and day make gray.
Oh.
Or black and white make gray. Whatever it takes for you to remember, yeah. So you'll do black and then white and then gray. So, and this, literally, guys, will just finish smoothing and shining that nail. So once I'm done with that, I flip it around because I want to do the white area. We're buffing it out. Are you ready? You guys, wait for it. Wait for it.
No!
You guys, wait for it. Wait for it.
It's okay, I fixed.
Broke it!
I was like really mad now. Oh yeah, he's got acrylic on there. It just broke. Guess where it broke at? Can I tell you what that area is called? The stress point. God bless America.
The nail was too
Well,
heavy.
shiitake.
Shiitake.
Then you use the gray.
It'd be okay. $5, I'll fix it.
Damn it. Yeah, I know, right? Even though it was my phone, I'll fix it for $5. So you file that fancy schmancy. This is what it would have looked like. Dang it! I'm so mad.
What it would have looked like.
This is what it would have looked like right here.
Really excited.
Dang it.
That's a good video. You should put that on the website.
Ready for it? Best class ever.
I feel so instructed now. This is definitely we're all going to be tagging you.
You gotta watch me, because you never know what I'm gonna do. And don't touch it. Okay.
No, be careful.
I'm gonna try to unshovel it now. We'll see what happens here.
Careful. Yeah.
Make sure you get rid of the air bubble.
Oh, you don't want any air bubbles in your nail, sir?
I heard like, I want my one nail to be perfect.
Dag nabbit. I can't believe that happened. That's funny.